Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Kevin Hart is hilarious, so funny and talented, but Dave Chappelle has made me cry. Literally cry. That's another level. He doesn't just make you laugh, he makes you think. Chappelle is a legend. Washington Post. Sex trafficked kids are crime victims in Las Vegas. They still go to jail.
Yep, I saw that clickbait headline.
Oh, I guess Texas abortion.
Oh, right. Texas being Texas. Mormons living in Texas?
No, it's Texas.
Did you know that there's more tigers in Texas than in tigers in captivity in Texas than there are in the wild? Texas is its own world.
I was gonna say that's kind of a good way.
Like, you remember WandaVision? Like WandaVision, how it had like the dome? That's like the border of Texas.
Did you know that Texas is the only state in the union that has the right to break up into 4 other states without congressional approval?
What?
Yeah. Because Texas was also one of the only states in the union. I think there was one other state, and I can't remember which one it is. It might have been Alaska. But Texas was the only state in the union that was its own country at one point.
Yeah.
So Texas, when they joined the union, they reserved certain rights. And one of them, I think, is the ability to withdraw. I don't think they can withdraw
America as a parent
union.
of 50 kids.
Yeah.
Texas is the problem child.
No, Texas is the adopted child. Like,
No, you're right. Florida's the problem child.
Texas is like your brother's kid, right? And like your brother's kid lives with you because your brother had it out with like the narcos and shit like that, and he's doing some time.
You just have like Vermont. They're just like well-adjusted.
So wait, what did you?
Oh, I said Texas is like your brother's kid, and your brother had to go do some time in jail, so you're watching your brother's kid.
Oh, I see.
And Texas has the right to like leave. I don't know if Texas has the right to leave the union without congressional approval, but I do know for a fact that they can break up into 4 separate states without congressional approval. Texas just has to agree to it.
Well, I wonder if that's because we've suggested it several times and they would.
How the hell would that even work? Are there just like 4 subsections of Texas already predetermined where they're like, or it's like the detonation button or the nuclear codes?
I think there was at one time, like, there were different regions to Texas when it was its own country, and like those regions don't really hold any real value anymore until we get to the fucking map that I sent you.
Very true. However, surprisingly, Texas is mostly one. But Texas isn't entirely one.
Yeah, no, but that's what I was gonna say. Part of Texas is like, what, Greater Appalachia, isn't it?
Most of Texas is Greater Appalachia.
Is it?
Yup.
What does that mean?
So Greater Appalachia refers to this map that I sent Dan that breaks the country down to like 11 different nations based on like ethnic and moral identity instead of the way that they're broken down by the states. And like the article basically goes down to...
Texas is like half Appalachia, half Deep South.
So the article basically goes into breaking down what each of these 11 nations would look like based off of the way they identify traditionally, like culturally.
And this whole thing came across from a Twitter post that I found where it was like super hot takes that you have, even though like super hot takes. And somebody posted that the term white people is actually grounded in white supremacy in itself. And is actually a method of white supremacy.
Is it grounded? Is it used or it's accepted?
No, it is a foundational part of... Its foundation has roots in white supremacy.
Absolutely.
Well, of course it would. White people, it's owned by white people. Don't you mean?
No, like the term white people being used to describe white people is
Oh, that's what they chose.
an inherently a subconscious like control.
Give me the first 5 words that pop in your head when you hear the word white.
No, let's even better. Okay, what are the first 5 things that pop into your head when you hear the word black? We can, if you want me
Not
to
a
make
fast enough reaction.
No, if you
Not
want
a
me,
fast enough
hold on.
reaction.
But if you want me to make brick streets racist, I totally can make that racist.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not street, but like brick buildings.
You're thinking you have to like
When you
rapid
hear-
fire.
when
Do
you
not
hear
even.
black. Yeah, I was gonna say, don't think about it. When
At
you
all.
hear black, what are the first 5 images that come to your head?
I mean, bats and African hair, pretty much. Big afro hair.
Okay, give me 3 more things.
I don't know.
And
I don't know. Pottery.
pottery.
I'm
Okay.
like trying to think.
Okay, one more thing.
I guess I would say have to say black people, right?
Okay, so bats traditionally scary, also like rodent rat creatures.
Rats? You
Right?
think
Yeah.
rats
Yes,
are
bats
black?
are rodents.
Oh,
You
bats,
said
bats.
you said bats,
Yeah,
right?
at least.
Black hair, right? Traditionally unkempt, unmanageable, kinky,
Oh, but I don't
disturbing.
think that way.
Yeah, but it traditionally you have been taught to think that way. What else did she say?
Nighttime.
Oh, nighttime, scary. You're afraid of the dark. You wouldn't go running out at night by yourself if you didn't have to, right? What was the 4th one?
Say pottery.
Oh, pottery.
Makes me think of African pottery.
Okay. Well, pottery is also fragile, weak.
Now, don't think white. First 5 things that pop in your head when you say white. Don't ever think.
A cross, a bunny, Christian religion, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. So the first 2 things, keep going.
A white fence, and
2 more.
church. Chickens. Little baby chicks.
Okay.
Well then, that's rather telling now, isn't it?
I mean, if we were Sigmund Freud psychoanalyzing my wife, there were some very heavily, deeply rooted Christian theology in there. When associating the word white with 5 first images, you came up with what, like 4 of them were religious symbols? I would even also venture to say that the rabbit is still kind of a religious symbol.
Totally. That's why I said Easter.
Well, the rabbit, I mean, the thing is like, a rabbit's pretty innocent. Like, how can you, like,
I was gonna say,
fluffy
yeah.
rabbit?
So essentially, what you associated white with purity, security, and comfort,
And God.
Comfort, though?
Yeah, I mean the white picket fence, right? That's
Oh, yeah.
security.
Well,
In church, most people find comfort in their faith.
but, yeah,
The first
God
one you
looks
said was a
way
cross.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, a lot of people, I feel like you see white crosses at church.
To me, that symbolizes discipline, though. Like that's like authority.
Okay.
But
But see, I
authority
don't look at
and discipline
religion as,
also.
Like, if I do black, I'm gonna think darkness, hip-hop, evil, because of the good and bad thing I already told you about, just from word connotations.
Yeah. It was also the first 5 things. You literally just the first 5 images that came
Yeah,
to
and
your
like
mind.
vampires. So 3 out of the 5 of those things are
negative
negative
or have
connotations.
Negative connotations to them, yeah.
Unless you think vampires are sexy.
like white. I think of like brides, angels. Also, I play Magic, so angels are like one of the predominant.
Yeah.
Like if you said red, dragons would be one of the ones that popped in my head. Lightning bolt would also be number 1. Would probably be the first. What do you think of the color
That's a
red?
red
Lightning
card.
bolt.
That's a red card?
Lightning bolt?
I thought lightning bolts were like.
I would have thought that would have been a yellow card.
There is no yellow in Magic.
There's no yellow in
It's
Magic?
white, blue, black, red, green.
Why is there no yellow?
Because there's not.
Like the sun is yellow.
I guess yellow's not a primary color, is it? No, it's not.
Yellow and red.
Yeah, no, so the 3 primary colors are It's actually like cyan, yellow.
Yeah, you have your
and,
secondary colors, which are across the color wheel, and then your tertiary colors, which are in between.
Yeah, nigga, we know that. I just asked though, what are the 3 primary colors, and your ass was quiet.
Yes, we just got one.
You didn't get a Warzone victory?
I said he helped me.
You said your friend got you a Warzone victory just now. Y'all upstairs cheating? Ooh, you a bot, yo.
No.
Get carried, son. I like how you're bragging about getting carried. Way to go, nerd. You should be walking out in shame.
Did you come down here to brag about getting
I only
carried?
got 5 kills.
Damn, yo.
Dang, you only got 5 kills?
Go back upstairs
But it's Battle
and
Royale.
sweat.
I don't want to hear it.
Go
You
up.
got carried.
Go
You
up.
shouldn't be proud of that.
Go upstairs and sweat.
Come down to me again when you make a Smurf account and get it ranked higher than your normal one.
From now on, for the rest of the day, you only allowed to play with a handgun and a knife.
Better show me some highlights. You want to know something fantastic?
Oh, all that was recorded.
I've been recording for 12 minutes.
Is that good?
There's content in there, that's for sure. I see your CD case and I just have to remind myself, it's like, oh dang, it's not a PlayStation 1 collection.
I know, it's pretty sad. I can't even
I
play
really
this far.
don't do that because it makes me sad. It really makes me wish that we had kept like a lot of that stuff. Like now, I really do wish I kept like my PlayStation and shit like that.
Yeah.
When you're poor and black, you just kind of move sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to sell some stuff. I had to sell my game collection.
It sucks. Fucking dude.
See, I look at my CDs as like memories of the history I want to hold on to.
I would turn them into art somehow. That's what I like to do with stuff like that.
But you can get a bunch of blank ones with no material on them to do that. Not lose out on your history.
Yeah, but I mean, you can take some stuff that you have and you can reduce, reuse, and rise up!
And crash through.
This
I'm
is
Doc,
Z,
and I'm Doc.
and this is The Flood.
The show where we bring you pop perspective
To put the culture in context
and to keep it a band with you.
and make the mainstream make sense.
There's a whole lot to put in context this week. It's a whole lot of random going on.
Texas
Summer is
Is
winding
being
down.
Texas,
Texas is being a whole lot of extra with it.
which also houses Joe Rogan. Texas, the domicile of the Joe Rogan.
Texas is in excess this week. A whole lot is in excess this week. The fields are in excess this week. Drake dropped that Certified Lover Boy.
Yep, from what I've gone through so far, it is pretty dope.
I
Like,
feel like it's hot mid, but I mean, look.
all right, so
charts
I already
are
got
loving it.
through 2 of those like top 5 tracks that you've said, and it's like, and I'm like, all right, I'm all aboard on those like 2 tracks for damn sure.
Okay, look, I'm not gonna get on here and tell y'all that Kanye's album is better than Drake's album, and everybody out here riding Drake's nuts. Talking about, ooh, Drizzy don't never miss. Ooh, Drake dropped another classic. Ooh, Pretty Boys versus Petty Boys. Ooh, like, nah, I'm not. Come on, miss me with it. This shit is hot mid. It's hot mid. There are some dope tracks on here because, of course, it's Drake. If we thought Drake was gonna drop a CD where there weren't some dope tracks, then y'all are stupid. But
I mean, the same thing with Kanye.
I have seen some real fire takes out here, right? Where people are just like, oh my god, like LeBron fucking reading off Rap Genius. Like, how much did you pay LeBron, Drake? How much did you pay him for that shit?
How much did he pay Kawhi Leonard?
Oh, we didn't even get into the songs that I like before I get to talk about Way Too Sexy, right? Because
All right, let's cover the 2 songs that I at least know that you heard.
Nope, because you already opened up this can of worms, my nigga. What the fuck was that, son? Really? Really, Drake? Really? Anybody pretending like that song is fire has smoked way too much fucking dick, son. Stop. Stop. That shit was hot garbage, yo. The best part about that is Future. Future makes everything tolerable, right? I don't know how it is, like, right? Future even makes being a scumbag tolerable, right? Like,
Future just, it was so obnoxious. Like, the whole thing. And I'm just like, you guys are really ripping off, like, Right Said Fred?
Yo.
Really?
I wouldn't call it ripping, right? Because as we all know, it is the art of the
It's
sample.
not ripping. But I mean, like, if you're picking that song to, like,
And
build your first single on your album off of?
If I would have thought anybody could flip a Way Too Sexy sample, right? You would have thought it would have been Drake, right? Maybe, I don't know, 2 Chainz, right? Is the only other person I think could flip that sample the way it deserved to be flipped. But this shit was a full shoot and a miss, my nigga. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, yo.
Just hearing Future go, and too sexy for, and I'm just
that
like,
was the best part.
And I'm like,
that was the best part.
All right, so the music video.
Oh my god, the music video. Hey, do you think? How much money do you think he paid Kawhi Leonard to do that stupid fucking 2-step, son?
About how long into the video shoot did it take before Kawhi was like, this was a mistake?
I'm not saying
because alright, so if it was in front of a green screen, he might have been like, okay, this could be good.
That
but
was
if he
totally
walked
in front of a green screen.
But if he walked into a set and there's like little fucking clouds everywhere,
which I'm also not past Drake doing, right? Like, I'm not past Drake putting up a green screen in some room of his house, and him and Kawhi and Future was just bullshitting and was like, yeah, let's shoot part of the music video right here. Ha ha, ha ha, I'm rich as fuck. Ah! No. But
that's hilarious.
I'm also not past Drake being like, hell yes, I built a cloud set. I'm rich as fuck. This nigga literally said on the fucking album, don't Google my net worth on, like, yeah, don't Google my net worth. That shit is way off.
I feel like Kawhi Leonard didn't actually want to be like, I feel like he didn't want to live in LA. I feel like he really wishes there was an NBA team in San Diego.
Yeah.
And weren't his braids like frayed and shit?
Listen, I'm not here.
It was awkward just seeing Kawhi Leonard.
I'm not here to braid shame, right? But what I will shame is Drake for pretending like this King of the Fuckboys album is about to be album of the fucking summer. Stop it. The only reason it's album of the fucking summer is because Drake does what he does every time he has an album roll out.
And J. Cole's came out in the spring.
Hey, you said it, not me. Look, listen, all I'm saying is The House is Burning is still right the fuck there, in rotation. Y'all niggas can keep playing like fucking Donda and fucking Certified Lover Boy is really... Both of those albums were bloated. I'm just gonna say that, right? Both of those albums were bloated as fuck. They probably could have been cut down at least 7 songs. Let's be honest.
All of you people that have listened through both of them at least 3 times, how's it feel to be a victim of marketing?
That's what I was gonna say. Drake's marketing team wins again. Shout out to the street team back there at OVO because...
A lot of the reason people are listening to these 2 albums is because they feel like they have to for being culturally relevant.
And the beef, right? Like, the only reason I think Drake and Kanye may actually be beefing is because I believe that Drake probably fucked Kim Kardashian, right? Like, because that's the kind of nigga that Drake is. Let's not pretend like y'all don't know that. Anybody who is following this talk right now knows that that's the kind of nigga that Drake is, right? Right?
Entanglements.
Come on. Yo, he got called out on social media because Future, King of Dry Snitch, not Future. He got called out on social media because French Montana, King of Dry Snitch, posted to Instagram Drake's like, oh god, what the fuck was it? It was like certified lover boy rules or some shit like that, and it was like 10 rules and Drake's like man cave. Like,
I got a what if for you.
Sad.
If Drake really does just slide in on every single like a vulture, what if it was Drake that Will and Jada were talking about at the red table?
And not August Alsina?
Do we get a Will Smith diss track where he actually curses?
It's been so long, I don't think that it would take a lot to make Will curse. If listening to Jada talk about sucking August Alsina's dick didn't make Will Smith cuss, August Alsina, never mind. Moving on. So my favorite songs on the Drake album, after like my second listen through, were Knife Talk with 21 Savage, You Only Live Twice with
Rick Ross!
Yo, that beat is fire. Rick Ross came through and effortlessly moonwalk on that shit for you. No,
And it was not like a short 30-second
No.
He went for like a minute and a half.
this nigga went beast mode on that shit. That's the kind of shit I love from Drake. I'm here for that all day. Drake, you can miss me with that fake Afro beat shit. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like,
You
his
can miss
snare
me.
his snare-based beats were my favorite ones on the album so far.
this was like Drake sliding back into his Houston bag, and this is where I and a lot of other people are at. Like, this is nothing new. Drake didn't reinvent the wheel with this album, and that's not to say that this shit was bad, right? Like, that does not itself make this album a bad album. But was it worth all the hype? Was it worth all the Billboard posts and stuff like that? Was it worth
Nope.
the weeks of Kanye beef and all that shit? No.
Nope.
Neither one of these two fucking albums were.
What do you
right?
think the last album that came out that was? J. Cole's?
J. Cole's album was fire as the fucking
Like, it got the
basketball
hype,
hoop
and
on
it
the cover.
actually was fire.
I, in controversy with a lot of other people, think the Isaiah Rashad album was worth the fucking wait, right? Like, it may not have been like the grand opus masterpiece that we were expecting after such a long hiatus from Isaiah Rashad, but I still think that the album delivered on what Isaiah Rashad delivers on.
By the way, I'm really excited for Kendrick's piece for upcoming project because it has been 5 years since he's done anything.
He just registered 30 new songs with, God, I forget what the board is, but whatever board you have to register, new published material with.
Maybe that's part of the reason he left TDEs, because they were being so hesitant or slow in reacting to get his project out.
I don't necessarily think it was that. Like, the way, we talked about him and Top Dog put it is, Kendrick just has a vision that he's going for, and being part of TDE isn't part of that vision anymore. And, what the work that he's put in there helped make TDE a cultural foundation. So Top wasn't even mad at the nigga. He was like, go on and do your weird robot thing, homie.
Kung Fu Kenny, we wish the best for you.
So love all the Jay-Z thing, and a lot of people are feeling conflicted about how Jay-Z can appear on both Kanye's album and Drake's album and they beefing. But to me, this signifies an even bigger important impact. Whatchamacallit, the sub-beef between Jay-Z and Drake is done. There was a Cold War beef happening, a lot of people think, between them two niggas, and Jay-Z giving a full feature on Drake's album instead of the 6 bars he did the last time he popped up on a Drake song.
Just waiting for Pusha T to bark in like the Taliban.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this means we gonna get a new Pusha T album, right? I wonder if this means that Kanye gonna make Pusha
T is the guy from the show Recess, the rat who always sucked up to the
Oh, don't do that, Pusha T, yo. That is such trash, yo. I can't even believe you said that shit just now, yo. Nah, son. I can't even let you do that to Pusha T. If anything, Pusha T is definitely like Spinelli, right? What the fuck you mean? Like, Pusha T is the one that's ready to pop off, willing to punch somebody.
But he knows everything. What's a better example of somebody who knows, like, everything?
Drake, nigga, because this nigga Drake found that fucking unreleased Andre 3000
Pusha
feature.
T is the one who remains.
Yes.
Pusha T is the one who remains. He's like, I must protect the sacred timeline. Any of you variants, I'm going to tell that you have an illegitimate child.
No, this nigga Pusha T is like, I'm begging for somebody to kill me so I can release my evil variants. Like, please, jump out there, right? Like, somebody go off so I can let loose this push that has been set behind this suit. This Pusha T who is now the, like, head of good music. He's waiting.
Meanwhile, Travis Scott just shouts, guys, I'm trying to practice guitar. Turn it down.
And Kid Cudi is over there painting his nails like, can't we all just get along? Him and Drake apparently ended their beef, you know? He's got a Cudi feature on there. So, like, the shit, like I said, to me, so far, album of the year is not Kanye or Drake. Like,
so,
let's keep it a band.
This would be a moment where I would say it's a hood pope decree, but you have since adopted a new persona.
Oh, yes. Yes. This is a declaration of Docrates.
Docrates.
That's a fucking mouthful, right? Just like anything that comes from me would be. Hey.
But it's D-O-D.
Damn. Yeah. It's a D-O-D. Hey. Certified.
Well, I mean, it's not like we can really do anything about it. It's a white guy and a black guy.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not against it at all. I'm just...
It'd be kind of weird if we did a podcast together and never mentioned it, ever. Oh, George Floyd thing happens. Hey, black co-host, how do you feel about this? No comment. That would be strange.
Or we were just like, so Wonder Woman dropped today. Did anything else happen?
Nope. Des walks up to the gate. Dang, what do I do? See, that's like one of the things. Did I tell you, I will never consider myself old until I play a video game where it's quote-unquote unpassable terrain. I will not consider myself old until I look at that terrain and I go, yep, nope, can't get past that. But if it's like just a pile of rocks, I'm like, are you kidding me? And you just climb over it. Really? Like...
Yeah, I don't think I've ever come across a video game where I was like, I don't think I can figure this out.
A literal wall, maybe. But like a stupid little pile of like debris, just walk right over that.
Yo. Speaking of walk right over, let's walk right over into some Russias or Floridas.
Russia
I don't know why.
or
I hate
Florida.
that face.
The segment where I find headlines
And I have to guess.
from Russia and Florida.
Is they from Russia?
Read them to Doc and he has to guess which one. I have 6 for you. I will tell you beforehand,
Or is
one
it
of
from
these
Florida?
is neither.
So you've thrown a red herring in the mix.
I have.
Ah. I see you, comrade.
Man shoots grandmother. Claims to have killed the devil.
This totally sounds like it could be a Russia story, but it also sounds like very methy, so I'm gonna say Florida.
It is in fact Florida.
Is there meth involved?
No, from what I read into it, there was no meth involved.
Damn.
However, he did have psychological problems
Oh, so this was
recorded,
like,
and his family did try to get help for him. Clearly, it didn't work.
good old Governor Ron DeSantis didn't want to take this man's guns away from him.
Oh, it was he knife stab.
Oh, I thought you said shoots.
No, I just said, oh, never mind. It is shoots.
Did you just spoiler alert the next Russia or Florida?
Nope, I did not. Actually, yes, I did.
So this one involves a stabbing.
Man stabs influencer to death.
Oh my god.
Then turns the knife on themselves and stabs themselves to death.
Yo, can we talk about how hardcore for a minute it is to stab yourself to death? That's intense, bro.
That's some, like, samurai seppuku shit.
That is some real, like, yeah, what's that dude from, what was it? The Da Vinci Code? The one nigga that had the,
Oh, yeah, the flagellant.
yeah,
He
yo.
would whip himself every day.
Yeah, man.
He was Catholic.
He was Catholic. Was this dude Catholic?
So I will say this actually occurred in Texas, but it was a Florida man.
So it was a Florida expat in Texas?
It was a Florida export.
Would you say
A sleeper agent, if you will.
a variant?
We'll get there.
Stabbing yourself to death, though? That's next level I want to die.
Yeah, because it's gonna take more than one.
And can you imagine? Alright, so you bang your elbow on something, right?
That shit hurts.
You don't want to bang your elbow again. Can you imagine stabbing yourself one time and being like, yeah, I gotta do this at least 7 more times?
36 if you're Carl the llama. Where are his hands? Well, I had a hunger that only hands could satisfy.
So next headline.
Millionaire admits to killing a man he mistook for a bear.
This is definitely a Russia story.
This is a Russian headline.
Because you said the word bear, right?
Yep. It's like why I try to avoid ones that have the word gator.
Or vodka.
So it was apparently a home intrusion, or
Dick Cheney. Wait,
it was not Dick Cheney.
no, but wasn't it Dick Cheney who shot his friend in the face?
Yes, that was Dick Cheney who did that.
Exactly. So, but it wasn't his friend though. It was
A political rival he tried to eliminate. Hi, Ted the Fed.
So he shot a political rival during a home invasion.
No, I'm talking about Dick Cheney. He was probably, like, deep in his underground lair.
Like
Dick getting his robotic heart worked on.
Yeah, okay.
And he's sitting there like, well, if I can't get someone to do the job, I must do it myself.
I thought it was like a close friend of his that he shot.
Who probably knew a secret.
So the Russian dude who shot a dude was in a home invasion, though, right? Like, that was during...
Or it was on his property. I can't remember exactly too much about this headline.
Okay.
But a millionaire dude definitely shot a guy thinking he was a bear.
So, do you or do you not believe that extremely wealthy people paid to hunt poor people anyway?
Isn't there a movie about this?
There are several movies about this. There's one that just came out that was, like, pulled from theaters because it was too touchy for the time. It was supposed to come out like 2 years ago.
Oh.
During all of the like hot button shit. Oh, it was like right before the election. I forget what it was. I forget what this movie is called. It's like, it's not The Game because that's the fucking movie with
That is another David Fincher movie.
Is that a David Fincher movie?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not the point. The point is there are several movies about this, the best of them being The Pest, with John Leguizamo.
Great actor.
But yeah, no, I totally believe that rich people pay to hunt poor people, yo. Like, especially like poor homeless people. That's why they keep the
What
homeless
celebrity
people.
do you think probably has participated in this?
Leonardo
And why is it
DiCaprio.
Jeff Bezos?
So I said Leonardo DiCaprio. No disrespect to Leo, because I don't
I
want
would
to be
buy it.
hunted. But could you not see Leo dressed up like Teddy Roosevelt hunting poor people, like with his new model girlfriend? I'm just saying. I said new model like a car, right? Not because it's
Leo's after he got divorced or broke up from his longtime girlfriend or wife, who I can't remember who it is right now, he was seen leaving a hotel with 30 women.
Once again, I said new model because I meant Leo dates models all the time, right? But in actuality, Leo does treat women like cars. So, new model felt perfect.
Okay, this leads us into our next one.
Our next Russia or Florida?
Yes.
Okay.
New strip club doubles as a church during the day.
This is definitely Florida, right?
This is Canada.
Oh, shit!
You forgot I said one was
I did.
a red herring.
I'm sorry.
This is Canada.
Would you say this is a boot, Canada?
I don't know, but when I was looking at other Canada headlines, it was great. It was like, carjacking thief steals car and returns it with a full tank of gas.
So should we start throwing Canadas in? Those are the kind of crimes y'all commit in Canada? Like, oh, well, I needed this car for a
I
job
saw a
interview.
headline where it was like, Canadians are slowly eliminating the word A from their vocabulary. Don't you know A?
Well, good on them, eh?
Man turns tables on bank, changes fine print in credit card agreement, then sues, and then settles.
Say that one more time.
Man turns tables on a bank, changes the fine print in the contract,
Oh, I've seen this
and
headline
then
before.
sues
Yes.
the bank, and
Yes.
then settles.
Yes. I saw this because they don't actually read these terms. They don't read their terms of agreement either. Nobody does. Stop making them 50,000 words. No one reads them shits. Not even y'all.
I might read Facebooks from now on.
Well, yeah, no, I saw this one because he did. He made it so he could cancel his thing with no.
Now, hold
like,
on, you have an
fees.
answer. Where is this from?
Oh God, was this Florida? This had to be Florida, wasn't it?
This was Russia.
Oh, this was. Fair enough, because we are a bit more litigious over here in America, and I don't know if our corporations would have let something that crazy slide through, but this was a good one. This was good.
I
And
have one more.
I hate the fact that this story blew up so much because I wish that like more people could do things like this. Because fuck them, fuck the corporations, you fucking oligarchs. Suck my dick, you Nazis. Anyway,
Fuck the Koch brothers and fuck the Daily Zeitgeist.
and fuck the Waltons,
But not like the Bill Waltons.
and fuck the Sacklers,
And James Harden.
and the Trumps.
Okay, I got one more.
Oh wait, no, I got one more. And fuck the Bushes, fuck the Clintons, fuck the whole royal family, except for like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, right? Like y'all.
Fuck
are
your
cool.
Jews, and if I see you in the street, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
Ooh, I got another
Now
one.
get the fuck up out my hotel room.
Fuck Harvey Weinstein, right? Like fuck that asshole.
Laura Ingram.
Fuck Laura Ingram. I was gonna say Grace
Candace
Kelly.
Owens.
Right? Yeah. Fuck Candace Owens. Fuck Ben Shapiro. Fuck Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz can eat a whole bag of dicks. Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson can suck a whole bag of leprosy toes. Yeah. Fuck that nigga all the way to the grave.
Fuck the CEO of Hasbro.
Yeah. Fuck you. I don't know
Fuck
what
them.
you did.
They own Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fuck y'all too.
Fuck you. Especially a big fuck you. Fuck Blizzard.
Hey, yeah. Fuck Blizzard. fuck global warming. It'd be hot as a bitch for no reason, and I can't take that shit.
Fuck anybody who says that Brad Pitt doesn't have range.
No, Brad Pitt doesn't have range, so fuck you.
We'll get into that later.
Anyway.
I have one more.
One more, Russia or Florida.
Man arrested at gas station trying to trade a knife for a Snickers bar.
This sounds oddly Russian.
This is Florida.
Damn it.
The man is quoted saying, "Man, don't make me do something stupid for a Snickers bar."
If you'd have said that, I'd have said it was Florida.
That's why I waited.
Instead of trying to rob him, he tried to bargain with him. Like, look, I have this knife.
He's like, "I'll bargain with you."
No.
And then an inevitable threat of robbing you.
Right. Like, he was like, okay, so look, here's how I want to do this. Here's how I would rather this happen. I have a knife, and I would like to trade it for a Snickers bar. Now let me say that again. I have a knife, and I would like to trade it for a Snickers bar. Or I could stab you and satisfy my hunger. Either way. Either way.
Random Florida man, you get angry
Snickers
when
bar.
you're hungry. Here's a Snickers.
If you give a
The irony of it being a Snickers now makes it so much better.
I was gonna say, if you give a Florida man a Snickers bar, does he turn into Bernie Sanders?
If you give a Florida man a cookie,
No.
then he won't ask for a vaccine for COVID.
Or,
If you give a Florida man a vaccine,
do you
then
think...
they'll ask for a Fox News interview.
I was gonna say, do you think if we give a Florida man a cookie, he would get vaccinated?
I think they'd ask her about Tree Fitty.
Fuck out of here.
Break!
But then it would be funny. And, like, then he started, like, hosting, like, Ben Shapiro and, like, weird right-wing nuts, like Steven Crowder and stuff on his show. And I couldn't get with it anymore, because I'm like, I felt the same way that his quote-unquote snowflake fans felt. And I was like, yo, why are you giving these weird nut jobs a fucking voice to spew this weird flat earth shit? Like, none of it made sense to me. And
You would think he would at least try to poke holes in it or something.
well, what I keyed into was what a lot of other people keyed into. It was the fact that Joe rarely ever has anybody from the other side on to say weird leftist shit, right? It's always, he does give counter opinion to the right. And like the farthest left I've seen Joe Rogan go was like when he had like Killer Mike on, or like
Bernie.
yeah, or like Jimmy Dore, and even Jimmy Dore, right, seems like an industry plant at this point now. If you know, you know.
I like when he interviews people like Rob Zombie or Kanye or like just pop culture figures.
Well, yeah, no, Joe is really good at sitting down and having 3-hour red table talks with people, right? Like Joe Rogan is
Like I'm listening to the Quentin Tarantino
I'm
one right
almost certain I've said this before, but Joe Rogan is red table talk for libertarians. Yo, that's it. So how long is it going to take before Joe Rogan has Jada Pinkett on his show? Right? Has that already happened? Somebody let me know if it's
They'll
already
start
happened.
random Zoom calling people in.
And then I need Joe Rogan to sit down at Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett and her mom and Willow and explain some of the shit that he said about transgender people to them. Like, that's what I want, right? Like, if Joe Rogan really is for the conversation, then jump out there. That's the kind of shit that bothers me about, like, him and Ben Shapiro, right? Is how they get to say they're here for open discourse. But in all honesty, the only one of them I've really seen go out there for open discourse is fucking Candace Owens, yo. Like, Candace is literally willing to jump out there for the smoke just about any of the time and does not care if she gets smoked in the fucking process, right? Like, but Candace is about that shit, right? Like, the only other one may be Tucker, right? Like, Tucker will... But I've seen Tucker backwalk some shit real quick.
Jon
right?
Stewart.
Well, I'm talking about on their side. You know, oh, well, you're saying Tucker backwalk shit with Jon Stewart. Yeah, no, I watched Tucker backwalk shit with fucking Chink Uger, right? Like, so it's like, yeah, if he'll backwalk...
I mean, I meant John, he's not on right now, but, like, he would have people from the other side. All the time.
The people on the left always do, right? And that is one of the things to a fault, is we are balanced and equal to a fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, the left is even willing to give fascist room to fucking breathe, right? And that's where we end up shooting ourselves in the foot all the fucking time. And it's that weird catch-22 where it's like, you know, if there's freedom of speech, then doesn't that include hate speech, or does that not include hate speech?
I think that also goes to any press is good press.
And if one thing is hate speech, then what is the snowball effect for everything being considered hate speech, right? It's that if no joke is funny, or if one joke is funny, unfunny, then all jokes are unfunny.
So,
right?
we're talking about Joe. Of course,
who
most
right now is looking like a joke.
Right now, I mean, he got coronavirus, and he recovered. Now, before we go
because he's a millionaire. Before we go into
I was gonna say,
else,
he's also, like, Joe Rogan is in good health.
He's not just that. No,
Like,
is a millionaire. Like, because there are plenty of people who are in good health who have succumbed to coronavirus, right? Like, knock on wood, but let's keep it a fucking band. When you watch that Joe Rogan clip, listen to all of the treatments that this nigga underwent, right? Somebody who has said that teenagers should not be afraid of getting coronavirus, right? Because they are young and healthy. Somebody who is on all of these fucking, like, science specialized diets because he himself considers himself a health nut, went under the fucking knife, like, for, like, every treatment possible. This nigga even took the fucking ivermectin or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
The fucking horse dewormer. Like, and no, apparently he didn't take the, like, animal byproduct, right? Or the animal product one. He took the one for humans. I didn't know they had one for humans.
I mean,
but
it wouldn't be
my point here is
shocking. I mean, there's a lot of cross use of drugs. And
this nigga who is pushing all kinds of fucking brain supplements and, like, health supplements and shit to y'all on a regular basis through his podcast went and took the fucking kitchen sink to make sure that he did not stay down for more than 3 days for coronavirus. Google all of them treatments that he fucking took and see how much that shit cost, yo. It's not a fucking joke. It's just these same people, right? I talked about this last time. The girl that worked on the Fox News campus tweeted the shit out that was like the same people who were telling y'all not to go get vaccinated and not to wear masks have to wear masks and be vaccinated to show up and tell y'all not to wear masks and not get vaccinated. Like, please. Joe Rogan, who was telling y'all not to get vaccinated, don't worry about it, teenagers, went and took the entire fucking kitchen sink to make sure he didn't die from fucking coronavirus. And I don't know if he's vaccinated or not. I want to say Joe Rogan did get vaccinated, at least, right? But let's not forget that this asshole was just out there telling people not to worry about getting fucking vaccinated, son. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off, but excuse me while I go to fuck off. I'm tired of this shit, Joe. It's so fucking bananas, and I'm not the only one. Philip DeFranco just went the fuck off about this shit. Like, I'm not the only one out here going off about this shit. It's fucking stupid, Joe. I'm sure they went off about this shit on TDZ. How much longer are we going to have to deal with the fucking dichotomy of what you believe versus what is sound-proven fact?
Echo chamber.
And I'm sure we're sitting in the... look, people will say we're sitting in one, right? But it's like, how much longer are we going to live in this delusional variant reality where there is no discernative truth, right? Because that's where we are. That's where we are. Hello, I don't know. Wake up call, right? It's not really a fucking wake up call. Like, the whole fucking fact of the matter is the reason why we are in the fucking quagmire we are in globally is because there is no discernible, in the age of information, there is no discernible truth. And that is the contradiction that we live in now. Right? I'm sorry, I don't mean to get fucking esoteric on the
I don't have much to respond to that with.
But that's where this whole Joe Rogan thing, like, that every time I hear shit like this is why I can't fucking talk on the internet. Y'all wanna know why I don't tweet more? Why I don't post more? It's because everything brings me to this fucking point, yo.
And you're a dad.
And I'm a dad. But everything brings me to this point, son. Like, I'm not saying that all of this shit is meaningless. I'm just saying, like...
None of it is normal. Bye, guys.
So, as we roll along...
I have 2 Lighthouse updates.
Shout out to the Lighthouse, keeping us in check.
Lighthouse is when we check ourselves or report back on something that we said in a previous podcast. It doesn't have to necessarily be the one that we did last week.
But we like to keep y'all updated as we get updated, because what we are here to do is sift through all of this current to find some kind of discernible truth.
So, the MLK Fortnite event. They banned all offensive emotes. They forgot one. They forgot one.
Come on, Epic.
The whip emote.
Stop. Stop.
That's the one they forgot.
Stop.
That's the one they forgot.
Are you kidding?
They forgot the whip emote.
Like the whipping nay?
No, like
even
a
worse.
picture of a whip.
What? How? How is that the one emote y'all forgot to ban? How is that not the first emote they banned? It's not like you can lynch people in Fortnite. It's not like there's a clan emote where you can put on a white hood and go bah, 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 right? Like, no.
Is a whip even a weapon in Fortnite?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't play. I'd have to go ask Des, right? But, like, the whole point is, how is that not one of the... What the fuck?
Way to go, Epic. You missed one.
You had one job.
But I mean, no, their job, why did they even do this?
I get why they did this, right? Because traditionally speaking, the online gaming community is rather toxic, right? So a Fortnite sponsored, culturally sensitive event seems like it could have been a good thing, right? There are some people who will say that's PC pushing. I don't know why they have to force that kind of stuff. I just came here to play
I'm
my
spamming
video
the whip
game.
emote because I'm a Devo fan. Sure, bud. Sure.
All I'm saying, it was a thoughtful gesture, right? Like, I'm not going to be one of those people who shits on people trying to be inclusive, right? Or like people trying to promote awareness, right? Like, it was a thoughtful attempt. I'm just saying, in the thoughts for those attempts, you might have considered... it makes me wonder how many people work on Epic's staff, right? Like, how many people of color work on Epic's staff, right? Because, like, how did the whip...
Here's a question for you.
How did the whip emote go?
Now, I have no idea what this list would look like.
Alright.
This is a question that's... I have no previous basis for it at all.
Okay.
When you think of mental images...
I'm not...
personify black oppression in our country, how far down that list is a whip?
So I did not like how this question was presented to me.
That's fair.
Did I ever in my life think that I would be asked, when considering images of mental oppression?
Like, I'm thinking like you said, the people of color that work at Epic.
Okay.
Like, you would think going through their emotes.
To answer your question, when you think of Wonder Woman,
It's like the third thing.
so when you think of slavery, it's like the fucking second thing, bro. You think chains and whips, right? Like, the fuck? The fuck do you mean? It's the second thing. That's why I was like, why was that not one of the first?
Exactly! That was the point of the question.
Okay.
That was the point of the question. When you said how many people of color work at Epic, you would think they would be like, what? No, we gotta get rid of that.
My point here being, this is why it is effective to have a multicultural workforce.
Boom! And dialogue.
Right? Especially when you are delivering content that is supposed to reach out amongst multiple cultures. So, what was our next Lighthouse update?
On a previous episode
Of Doc and Ziggy. On a previous episode of The Flood with Doc and Ziggy.
Previously on The Flood with Doc and
Ziggy.
You said if we're gonna recast Deadpool, it would be Brad Pitt. Break! It's not a break!
Brad Pitt also condemned Harvey Weinstein and his actions, but got into an argument with his wife Angelina Jolie at the time about continuing to work with Harvey Weinstein.
Break! So something weird happened to me the other night. I was outside, it was like 3:30 in the morning, slipping on quitting smoking cigarettes. It's really hard. Just being honest with all the listeners.
It hurts. I remember going through it, bro.
And
you'll get there. Keep on pushing.
I started to hear like a woman screaming.
Oh. Okay.
Like down the court, and I'm like, I'm hearing like screams like from a horror movie.
I was gonna say this got very La Llorona real quick.
Yeah. My first reaction is my Yu-Gi-Oh player mind kicked in. I ain't seen nothing. But then my moral compass side kicked in.
It's like,
and I run down the street
we should
and I listen, and I'm hearing her scream like, "No! No!" and just like screaming at the top of her lungs. And I go down to the end of this court, and I'm like, okay, I hear it through the woods, and it starts to get farther and farther away. And I'm like, oh my god. So,
oh my god.
I call the cops, because I'm hoping they'll do their job, right? This is like flip a coin. And they show up.
Oh my god,
it's
what
a woman.
is going on?
It's a woman, and I'm like,
the cop was a woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear screaming. Like, I don't even let her. I hear screaming. It's coming through that woods. Feels like it's going farther away. Okay. Like, this shit's like fucking crazy.
Right, my man is like, no, it's creepy. It's ruined my whole afternoon. Could we please?
No, this was like 3 in the morning.
Oh. What?
Right? Real dark. Real worried. I'm thinking I'm gonna like maybe save a life here. I'm like,
shout out to Lazy Masquerade.
Like, I'm thinking it's like 3 in the morning. This woman is screaming. There's probably no one else fucking awake. Like, I could be like the saving light, right?
Okay. And
the cop tells me, "Oh, she's fine. We've gotten a couple of calls. She doesn't need any medical attention. She's just talking to her husband about their divorce."
What a twist!
And I was like, oh, okay.
Shout out to Lazy Masquerade. Hey, at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yup.
Guys, make sure the person you sign those state certified papers with.
We want prenup! We want prenup!
That's probably how the yelling started, right? She was like, "What do you mean I don't get
Trying to
the
make a
fucking house?"
trying to put her makeup on the mirror and crash. Now, hold on. Here's one. Do you think she's pissed because she's vengeful? Or do you think she's pissed because he's getting the best of her in the divorce because she did some dumb shit?
I feel like those were both two very toxic questions.
They are.
Asked me just now.
But I mean, if they're gonna get divorced
They're
and
very
they're screaming
loaded.
like that, how is it not a toxic situation?
In all fairness, maybe he did initiate.
An entanglement?
It's so messy. God, that's so messy. And for her to be, like, screaming at the top of her lungs.
Like, I thought somebody was about to get fucking murdered. Like,
For the whole, like, neighborhood to report this bitch. Like, hey, yo, please, like, tell her what is going on over there. Oh, man, I'm sorry, man. I hope it all works out.
apparently it did. Shout out to that lady.
Shout out to that divorce lawyer who is about to make bank rolls.
You gonna take the golf club?
Anyway, so as we roll along here,
I have one other story. I told you about this one, but I just think it was a hilarious story, right?
right?
So, before class, I realized, I'm like, oh shit, I have access to like a gymnasium now.
Oh, okay.
So I went in,
So Zig
and I
was
got
at
a ball,
school,
and before class I just went and I got some shots up. I looked
running
a little...
ball in the gym.
It looked a little weird, you know, like everybody else is in like gym shorts and shit, and
It's new for
I'm
us.
wearing no shirt, I'm wearing skinny jeans and a bandana tied around my head.
Looking like something out of the fucking Warriors. Let's go.
I was gonna say Woody Harrelson, but...
Warriors!
Come out and play!
So,
But I get the ball shoved in between the backboard and the rim. It's a wedgie, right?
okay.
And I have one of them. I asked the guy down at the other side to get a ball, and I turn around real quick, and I see this tall black guy like peek through the curtain, and he's just like, "Oh man!" And I get the ball and I throw it up and I knock it out, and then he just closes the curtain and walks away. And I'm like, "Yo, this man really thought he had his moment."
You
Like,
stole his moment from us, man. He was ready to come out and just full on just palm that shit like, I got you, big guy.
it's like it reminded me of the moment from Not Another Teen Movie, the slow clap guy.
He was waiting all movie for that slow clap. Oh, man.
Those are my two little asides of personal stories I thought were funny.
You know what's not funny? Texas's abortion law.
Well, then.
I know that transition was kind of like, whoa, really, Doc? That's insensitive. No, you can't get any more insensitive than, and it would be entirely insensitive if we, a show about, you know, cultural fluidity,
Didn't mention it?
didn't talk about the very touchy subject that is Texas's new abortion law. Now, I have not read the law in its entirety, and I'll probably plaster that bitch up here somewhere, but
With like a pause break so y'all can read it yourself.
very draconian. One of the most outrageous things that I'm seeing is that you could potentially be sued, right, for getting an abortion. Up to $10,000. And I think $10,000, right, from what I've seen. Not just that's not the most wild thing I've seen, but that's one of the most wild things, right?
Black market's about to get a huge infusion of cash.
There were actually websites set up to snitch on people who you know have gotten abortions and their doctors, right? Because you can not only sue the person getting the abortion, but you can sue the doctor that performed it, right? And it is an abortion law that I believe centers around the heartbeat bill, which means that it is illegal to abort a fetus that has a detectable heartbeat, which can be done up to as early as 6 weeks, which is early enough.
Before the woman would know that she's pregnant.
Yes, I was gonna say, which is early enough for a woman to not even really know she's pregnant yet. So, with that being said, hey Texas, who's the Texas governor? Greg Abbott.
Yup.
Greg Abbott, right? Good old boy Greg Abbott, right? Okay, so they're going to be... This is a very controversial thing, right? We're talking pro-choice versus pro-life here, right? And there are lots
I think
of
a lot of it more is it's just agency of yourself. But the other side is life starts at conception. When really it is like, yo, this is like my body. Like if somebody said I couldn't get a tattoo of, Wilma Flintstone sitting on a throne wearing a tiara, I'd tell them to go fuck off.
I am going to make a statement here that I will stand on, and I will stand on my square 10 toes down. It is always her body, her choice. Right? As a man, that is what I teach my son, and will continue to teach my son, and what I am going to teach my daughter. It is
By the way, that's the first time we have announced it on the pod. Doc is expecting a daughter!
Is it the first time? That is a very awkward time to announce that I am expecting a daughter. In the middle of having a talk about abortion.
They are keeping the baby!
This time, because we've had an abortion before. And it was a very controversial thing in our relationship. It was a very, trite thing in our relationship. And it was something that we both ultimately agreed on at the time. But it was still a rough workaround for both of us. Both of us still feel, and she will come down here and tell you right now, it's still her body, her choice. Right? Like, at the end of the day. Still her body, her choice. So, for Texas to be making these very, as I said earlier, draconian, very authoritarian, right? Like, we really are. And I saw something the other day that was like, stop comparing it to Sharia law and stuff like that, because it is tyrannical evangelicalism, right? Mm-hmm. It is almost kind of reductive to compare it to Sharia law, but it is in the same wheelhouse, right? It is just being done through the vein of Christianity, and that's the whole point, right? It's like, let's not reduct it by, comparing it to Islam without first highlighting the fact that it is Christian doctrine that is driving this extremely tyrannical...
And it's still like pick and choose parts of the Bible.
It is pick and choose parts of the Bible. It is a dictatorship, right? Like, Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis are setting themselves up as, de facto authoritarian. They are taking authoritarian control of their state in direct defiance of Joe Biden. The whole Afghanistan thing is just fueling them even more to make moves that make them seem like strongmen, to align themselves with what eventually is going to, I didn't want to say it, right? I'm trying not to say it because I'm trying to be hopeful, but get ready for the battleground that's coming up in the next 2 years, because it's going to start in the next 2 years, right? Like, elections have already progressively shown themselves, election cycles anyway, have progressively shown themselves to start earlier and earlier.
That's another thing, in one of the older episodes I listened to. You basically called January 6th.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
And if he loses the election and there's a riot within a week, he'll be like, see, this is what happens. The Joe Biden America that I was telling you about.
Oh, but that's what they're gassing their supporters up to do right now, right? Because they see the riots that are happening because of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all this shit. So guess what? I hate to be this guy, but if Donald Trump loses and he wants to stir shit up, they're going to fucking riot. They're going to blame it on the mail-in votes, and they're going to call it voter corruption because he's been priming the gears for that for the last 4 years.
Which is why everybody needs to vote. We need to destroy him.
Unquestioned.
You basically called it.
I'm sure I'm not the only one, but
I mean,
remind the good
you,
folk.
like this. I think we released this episode in October, and you called it.
I'm not saying that I called it. I'm just saying that there is a benefit to being tapped in, right? Like, to what is going on in the underbelly.
There are trends and threads that you can pull. Not in the weird QAnon way.
Not in the weird Charlie from
fucking Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But I mean,
way,
like,
but like,
you know, if a lot of people who grew up eating glue, a large portion of them have, you know, mental disabilities, might be a connection there.
we're to a point now where all of this stuff is way too mainstream to continue to ignore the science, right? Like, we can't even agree on whether or not getting vaccinated is for the benefit of, like, the global economy, right? Like, if we, like, take it to economic standards, right? Like, it's so funny to me that these GOP Republicans and, like, you know, these Republican cohorts or whatever, I hate to reduce them down to cohorts because in an actual conversation that will do you no good to, like, get through to them, right? But, like, for the sake of this conversation at hand, I'm talking about your average Fox News viewer, right? Like, you can't tell me that it is not wild to you how they went from the shutdown is good for the economy to I'm not getting vaccinated, I don't care how good it is for the economy.
Cash rules everything around me, cream. It's money, dollar bills, y'all. Right.
I'd love it. I would love it if we got to the point where, like, people was watching this shit. It's like, I don't know. Doc was edgier back when he had the little arms. Doc, before he started working out, used to say some really wild shit. Not really. You can go back and check my timeline. Don't go back and check my timeline. I can't promise what I post on the internet is, like, politically correct. I just can't make that.
Check it out. What's it all about?
At the Flood Pod.
We're working out. Let's burn this party, y'all.
On all the socials. Holla at you, Guala. Hey, so
virtual workplaces.
I was trying to find a way to, like, slide, like, slowly ease in.
Nah,
to
fuck
this
that.
topic.
Virtual workplaces.
I don't know how wild that's gonna sound when I go make it. Anyway, so as we try to establish, like, a new normalcy here, with the realization that maybe we don't need, like, all these huge office spaces and cubicles and stuff with, like, poor circulation where people can, I don't know, have super spreader events as we continue to go to festivals and restaurants with no mask on. Tech companies are introducing what seems to be, like, a solution to some of the questions that are being asked. Like, could that be sent in an email? Or could we have a virtual meeting about it? Right? Like, if you were tired of staring at your coworkers four squares like this was some kind of fucking 1980s game show, right? Like, that was a deep reference for some of you millennials.
I was thinking more like the Zoom meeting's probably like the Brady Bunch intro.
Ooh, that was a good one too. Well, if you like Animal Crossing, you may be getting to have your meetings Animal Crossing style soon here at your workplace.
Are you serious? Like an Animal Crossing plugin?
Well, no, this is not well, I mean, the virtual, like, workplace, the virtual workroom that I saw looked a lot like fucking, like, Animal Crossing, right? I don't know, we're somewhere in between, like, fucking The Sims and, like, yeah, the Me-verse. And I don't know if that's gonna make any of this shit any better when you could have just sent it in an email. Unfortunately, I don't have much of a perspective on this because I don't have a job where we have, like, regular work meetings or anything
Me
like
neither.
that. I don't know. It just seems a bit. I don't want to say Blade Runner or Ready Player One, right? It's not that dystopian. Like, it's the stupid future, right? Like, we got calls for sheltering in place for a tornado while there were, like, flash flood warnings going on this week. And I'm like, wow, this is peak.
I was driving to work
Peak
in the
climate change
in the
apocalypse.
cleanup of the tornado in Annapolis.
So this is what, the second time in the last, like, 5 years that a tornado has hit. And, like, I've lived in Maryland for quite a long time.
Yup.
And I don't remember tornadoes being, like,
Nope.
a twice in 5 year occurrence
Nope.
out this bitch, son. So, I'm not saying it's climate change. All I'm saying is something is changing with the climate. Hey, holla at you. Anyway.
Whoever's playing Sims in this timeline's fucking around.
Whoever's playing Sims in this timeline is
You want to know
all
a good way
about
to
that.
tell somebody's a sociopath? Watch them play The Sims for a day and a half.
I don't feel like
How
that-
long before they make a pool with no ladder?
I don't feel like that's fair, son, because everybody runs over pedestrians in Grand Theft Auto, yo. Nobody follows traffic regulations in Grand
I
Theft
actually
Auto.
like to. I've always found it kind of relaxing to just drive around in GTA and just follow the traffic laws.
So, driving around in GTA, yes. Following the traffic laws, what kind of neutral good are you, sir? Like, what kind of weird...
I didn't want to wreck the car. It was a nice car.
What kind of weird NPC life are you living when you play Grand Theft Auto?
I just wanted to listen to the GTA radio and chill. Eventually, I hit a country road, so
You know who needs to chill? China. China needs to chill. Hey, listen here. In the week of extremely toxic laws and regulations being passed, China decided to tell Texas to hold its beer.
all right, go on.
China said, oh, heartbeat bill, what about I'm banning femboys from TV? That's right. If you ain't heard, now you hear it. If you don't know, now you know. China has banned sissies, femboys, and all kinds of metro men from TV. You hear that, you little TikTok weebs? No more hair flips, no more manicures. China says, fuck all that bullshit. I'm tired of you guys not being manly enough.
My biggest thing is by what metrics are they using?
Well, considering that the country right above them literally practices chugging vodka and wrestling bears as a sport, and that K-pop is taking over the Eastern, cultural demographic, I think, they're trying to do a heavy, shift over.
So basically, if you were caught at Warped Tour in the 2000s, you couldn't be on Chinese TV?
If you like BTS, right? I don't think you get to be on Chinese TV anymore. They are looking for something more traditionally masculine. And, I'm not going to say they're promoting toxic masculinity per se, even though I will probably clickbait this segment with China endorses toxic masculinity. But, they want...
Now we know if you listen to the whole video.
Now, we know that China is not with that femboy emo shit, son. They said they want you niggas to buck the fuck up, right? And break some bricks with your fist again.
So this picks up on what I wanted to talk about. It just so happens that one of the characters in a movie that I watched recently brings this up where it's just be the man, but have you noticed that it's actually really hard to find videos on streaming services without premium add-ons that are of cultural note?
So you're saying, quote-unquote, cult classics are nowhere to be found.
Well,
on
for Quentin
streaming
Tarantino, the only movie that is on basic Hulu, basic Netflix, is Django.
So, I will say that...
If you look for Brad Pitt movies, you don't see, like, Fight Club or Seven without some premium add-on.
I don't think I have seen Seven.
Leonardo DiCaprio, there's no Titanic.
Titanic, I feel like, was just on Netflix. Now, some of these movies that you're listing, I feel
There's no
like...
Revenant?
They make their rotation, right? Like, I feel like a lot of these movies will make their rotation. I found it interesting that Amazon, you know, has all of these titles, but they are for rent, right? So it has something to do with the streaming rights to these movies, correct? Because these, of course, a lot of these quote-unquote cult classics are the movies that are continuously bringing in revenue, right? So the companies behind their production are gonna want to make sure that they are still getting their, like, you know, their fill of whatever profit is being made from these movies.
But if you think about Netflix trends recently, they are constantly putting out new movies. Their top trending is always new movies. Until, like, a classic will get put on there, and then it will shoot. There was an example this week, actually. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was an old movie just put on Netflix, and then it shot up to the second trending title.
I'm going to take a stance for this that you may not have seen coming. Watch out, there's a twist.
What a twist!
I am actually on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? I think that if you are that interested in seeing those movies, then yeah, pay for them, own your digital copies, or go out and buy the DVD. Because I'm tired of people complaining about there not being original content to watch, but then complaining about all the new movies that like there's too much stuff on Netflix. I don't know what to watch. Fucking watch something. I don't know. There's tons of shit on there. Dog, pick a thing. Right? And if it's not good, then move on to the next thing. I think it's time that we stop. The whole reason we're stuck in this nostalgia thing, right, is because we're afraid to branch out and find new things to watch. But then when we do find new great stuff like Lovecraft Country and shit like that, where is the demand for it? You know what I mean? Like, HBO canceled that shit. Why aren't y'all, like, up in arms about, like, new
canceled.
original... It was canceled. They didn't renew it for a second season.
And Misha Green has a whole... you could do for a second season? They killed Tick.
Misha Green has a whole set Bible for this
Oh,
shit.
right.
You know what I mean? She had a whole plan for the thing, right? But instead we're, you know... And there are tons of new... I know not everybody reads, but... There are tons of new, like, books and stuff that are being adapted into live action and all of that shit. Like, go out and find something new. Like, all this new foreign cinema. We do have all... My point is, we have all of these new voices that are begging to be heard. Right? Like, why are we worried that Netflix isn't streaming Fight Club anymore?
Even something like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which came out less than 2 years ago.
Right. Okay. So, in that, too, I also feel like is regional. I bet you if you have a VPN, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Fight Club and all that shit is available if you, like, have a UK IP address.
Or if you have Stars, or the live TV add-on for Hulu, or the HBO add-on. Or the Showtime add-on.
I mean, you know, unfortunately, I think part of this is the fact that we live in a fucking capitalist economy, dog, where they're like, yeah, give me my money. Like, you want to see this shit? Give me my money. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, a lot of people complain about Netflix not having anything, right? Meanwhile, Netflix is shelling out all this fucking money to produce all of this new and original content that is completely going unwatched, right? And then when they remake fucking Cowboy Bebop, y'all are like, oh, well, why the fuck are they remaking all of this old stuff? It gets on my fucking nerves when we've got a new He-Man being produced and shit like that, which is
There's actually a second new He-Man.
right. Well, which is part of the Netflix's new rollout of original content. Oddly enough,
No, I mean, like, there's the Kevin Smith He-Man that
Yeah.
we watched,
Yeah.
and then there is another He-Man.
And you know why that keeps happening? Because y'all keep asking, what happened to He-Man? How come I can't watch that? And I'm part of the problem too, right? Like, HBO Max has a new series on there called Jellystone, which is a, like, spoof Teen Titan in, like, the Teen Titans Go sense of all of the old Hanna-Barbera properties, right? Like, Yogi Bear and Huckleberry Finn and all them live in a town together called Jellystone with fucking Jabberjaw and all of that shit in Hong Kong.
Birdman's a lawyer.
You know, I don't know if I've seen Birdman or not yet.
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Anyway, that hit my nostalgia point, right? Because, like, all of those Hanna-Barbera properties is very fundamental to, like, early Cartoon Network stuff, right? Like, if you remember, like, June Bugs and shit like that, like, early Cartoon Network, where, like, all of the Dexter spoofs and, like, Ed and Eddie tropes and stuff come from, it's all of those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, if you remember Saturday morning cartoons, then you remember those Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
I remember those mostly from staying at home from school days.
Same, right, like, you get my point though. Like, waking up early for, like, summer camp was one of the memories why I remember, like, Pound Puppies and shit like that. And I'm not saying Pound Puppies was Hanna-Barbera, but it might have fucking been, right? Scooby-Doo was my shit, right? I saw somebody the other
Puppy
day.
and Scooby-Doo was God tier Scooby-Doo.
Yo, I saw somebody the other day who, never mind. Anyway, they were questioning why somebody would remember media from, like, 60 years ago, and I was like, has this nigga never heard of, like, Scooby-Doo? Like, it is probably one of underrated, hot take, Scooby-Doo, top tier cartoon property.
Strongly disagree.
I think time would suggest otherwise. Like, Scooby-Doo has lasted, like, just as long as, like, The Simpsons or South Park did.
Oh, I know. Just, I do not find that Scooby-Doo that good.
That's not the point.
I'm not denying its cultural influence. I just think it's not that good.
That's not the point. The point is its cultural influence. We could argue about how God tier Scooby-Doo is off camera, but
because it's not God tier.
No, it is God tier.
It's
We're not
definitely
gonna
not
get it.
God tier.
No, we're not gonna get into this. Everybody has their nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everybody wants to see at least one thing that they loved from childhood revived to be brought forth into the new fold of
It's
the
the
zeitgeist.
genie that I've talked about before. The genie of nostalgia.
But
You go to something to invoke that feeling, and then when you're done, it goes right back into the lamp.
it's the member berries, right? Shout out to South Park. We're, like, ODing on member berries, yo, and complaining about not having new content at the same time, right? Like, there are no original stories, everything is so predictable, and nothing is worth watching because it's all a fucking remake, right? Meanwhile, there is tons of new shit on, like, fucking Netflix that is worth watching if you would get over the need to see Fight Club for the 30,000th time in a fucking row.
Alright. Now!
I
What
mean,
fictional lawyer would you want to defend you? I have two that I'm thinking of off the top of my head.
what's the lawyer from the fucking video game?
Phoenix Wright?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was one I was thinking of.
yeah. Phoenix Wright or My Cousin Vinny.
I'm going with Sam Masterson from Law and Order.
And what was your other one?
Phoenix Wright.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Harvey Birdman.
Attorney at
Law!
No, I would not. If you have watched Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, then you would know goddamn well that
Ally McBeal.
none of this is normal, guys. Keep your death threats
To 140 characters or less.
Catch us next week.
Look, it's a flood. It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
talk about
It
Black
is
Sun.
time to